The enormous Chinese balloon that drifted over America for days before being popped on February 4 by an American fighter jet had an almost comical quality to it. It was carrying equipment the size of a small passenger plane. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Prime Time TV. If you are new to our channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and bell icon to never miss receiving notifications whenever we post a new video. It was a slight consolation when compared to other Cold War-era events, like the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 or the crash landing of an American spy plane in 2001 after a Chinese fighter had collided with it. This, however, was no joke. America claimed that the balloon was spying. China's threat to ordinary Americans became apparent overnight. Make no mistake about it, President Joe Biden said in his State of the Union address on February 7th. If China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country. And we did. The high-altitude balloon was brought down by the American military on orders from President Joe Biden after flying over a number of military installations and across the nation. China responded by threatening retaliation and asserting its right to take further actions in response to what it saw as an obvious overreaction and a serious violation of international practice. There is no doubt that the United States and China need to communicate diplomatically more now than ever before, according to experts. The possibility of a military conflict exists, however, in contrast to the geopolitical conflict between the United States and the former Soviet Union that gave rise to the term Cold War. The growing rift between the United States and China is made more difficult by their dependencies and interdependencies. According to Stephen Flynn, founding director of the Global Resilience Institute at Northeastern University, the reality is that when we were in conflict with the Soviet Union, all of our systems were in opposition to each other. Instead of a communist authoritarian government, there was a democratic one. The economic system of the Soviet Union was totally distinct from that of the West. On top of all of that, there was the threat of war, which created a highly explosive situation. China, a global threat. There is a growing bipartisan consensus in Washington that China is a global threat to the rest of the world due to its trade policies, its repression in Hong Kong, and its assertive stance towards Taiwan. For its part, China feels that American conceit unfairly prevents it from achieving its legitimate status as a superpower. Some experts fear that the current level of hostility will lead to an unchecked cycle of escalation. The US thinks the balloon it shot down last week is a component of a larger surveillance fleet that scourges nations from South America to Asia. What does the fact that China would employ such a blatant and obvious technique to spy on its enemies say about its leadership? The United States has made it clear that even before the balloon was shot down, flybys with surveillance planes were conducted, allowing for a clear view of the array suspended beneath the balloon. They are confident that this balloon has a variety of collection capacities and that they are not limited to meteorological data due to the solar cells and other equipment they observed there. That will probably be confirmed as they examine the materials they have removed from the Atlantic Ocean. They not only claim that China has this capability, but they also extensively brief other nations on it. America wants to guarantee that those nations are forewarned, but also that China is fairly painted in this light. So, is there a Cold War going on between the US and China? Naturally, how the term Cold War is defined will determine whether the two countries are headed for a direct confrontation. On the one hand, the phrase specifically refers to the tumultuous time in American and Russian geopolitics. The term Cold War loses some of its meaning when taken outside of that context. A Cold War is a situation or scenario that successfully evades turning into a hot war, to put it another way. In other words, if they've managed to keep things at a simmering level, it could describe conflict between two nations that would otherwise be on the verge of war with each other. We don't think there's a Cold War going on between the US and China. They currently just have very strained relations, and their diplomatic relations are at an all-time low. The balloon saga demonstrated that the relationship between the United States and China is a fraught one. Additionally, it demonstrated how they are spying on one another with regard to matters of national security and potential for conflict. With the help of this balloon, everything became apparent. According to some experts, the term Cold War has been used in potentially harmful ways. Nuclear war during the Cold War was prevented in part by the threat of mutually assured destruction. When it comes to a confrontation with China, let's hope that fear of the economic equivalent will have a similar effect. However, the downing of a suspected Chinese spy balloon, which has damaged diplomatic relations, serves as a reminder that mistakes can still occur. Comment down your thoughts on whether China will initiate a Cold War or not. If you found the video to be informative, then don't forget to like and share the video with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We will keep you updated. Bye-bye.